You niggas call yourselves woke and all that, but don't know that the mainstream history that we're given is a fucking lie. Like, y'all really thought the enemy was going to give you some truth in their public school system? Or at these HBCUs that they funded? Are you kidding me? Niggas that graduate from HBCUs are influenced by the boule, okay? The boule pretty much created these Greek sororities and fraternities that niggas love to join and be a part of. And these boule members are the gatekeepers of knowledge. They gatekeep our history. They gatekeep science. They gatekeep everything, okay? A boule ass bitch will come and cut me off, whenever I try to enlighten people about their body and health, okay? Because supposedly a nurse or a doctor would know more about that than I would. These nurses and doctors are being taught how to destroy us on a cellular level. You're not going to get any truth from a practicing doctor, okay? A doctor practicing medicine, a doctor who's selling you pharmaceuticals. All a doctor is a pharmaceutical salesman. And I have to continuously stop and start recording because my camera keeps lagging. They don't want truth out here. They make it hard to spread truth on YouTube and all these other platforms, but I know everybody's on TikTok, so I hope that, truth can get through on here. Okay, but everything we've been taught about ourselves in America is a lie, okay? The only people who own slaves are the people that are rich now, okay? That's been rich, okay? Not the ones that, worked hard from the working class and then came up with schemes to become rich. I'm talking about people who had generational wealth. And there's blacks that have that, okay? That's been rich since the 1700s and owned slaves. There were more black Europeans or black Jews that owned slaves than actual pale skin ones, okay? You can research this. There were more melanated people that owned indigenous slaves in America than pale people. But y'all don't want to talk about that, okay? Y'all want to keep on with this black versus white thing when it's never been just a black versus white situation. When these invaders came, they came with brown people too. And they used those brown people to get to us, indigenous people in America. There were a lot of indigenous people in America that looked like me, that had afros, okay, when these foreigners came, when these Spanish Jews and Portuguese Jews and all of these people flooded America, and the Asians came from the other side too, okay? When they came and flooded this land, they found us, okay? This land was not empty. This land was not up for grabs when the fucking Asians came here, and there was no Bering Strait ice wall, okay? Asians started flooding America in the 1500s. The Filipinos came, and then after like the steamboats, after the steamboats were created in the late 1800s, more Asians flooded South America, okay? But if you find old images of Mexicans and South Americans, Central Americans, all that, you will see that they looked like me, okay? They had dark brown skin and afros, okay? You will find this is a common pattern when you start researching and you go back a few hundred years. You will notice that all races were darker, okay? And they did have curly afros. Even Europeans. Come on, look up the Cheddar Man. I mean, this information was being spread around before 2020, okay? But 2020 just shook the world, and everybody just forgot about this. Okay? Yeah, back on topic. You can't call yourself woke holding on to the mainstream history, this out of Africa lie, this lie that, oh, black people would not be in America unless, the white man came and stole us from Africa. Like, that whole story don't make sense whatsoever. Like, you got to question a lot of things. Like, how were they being fed on the ship? Okay? And they were on this ship for over a month getting to America. It would take about a month, up to 2, maybe even 3 months, depending on what time of the year. Like, y'all not hearing me when I say they had to use the ocean currents, okay? They had to sail using the ocean current, okay? So if it wasn't much wind or anything, pushing these sailboats to go at fast speed, those sailboats were on the ocean traveling from Africa to America for more than, I would say, 2 months, okay? Like, if they did it during the fall, it would cut about a few weeks, okay, from the voyage. But there's certain times of the year they had to travel, okay, using the ocean currents, okay? Like, steamboats were not invented until the late 1800s, and they wasn't perfected until 1890. Okay, so they wasn't bringing Africans by the boatload over here. They used African mulattoes, okay, to gatekeep us. These were the founders of the Boule. The picture on the side here, that is W.E.B. Du Bois, or W.E.D. Du Bois, or something. W.E.B. Yeah, W.E.B. Du Bois, and he was one of the founders of the Boule. And as you can see, he was high yellow, okay? Most people will say W.E.B. Du Bois was an amalgamated character used to convince our people that we all came from another place, across the great waters or whatever. They always use these African mulattoes against us, okay? Obama, for example, was another African mulatto they used against us. The indigenous looked similar to Africans, okay? But we are not Africans, okay? Just like how a horse looks similar to a zebra, or a horse looks similar to a donkey, but they're not the same. They're not the same species. They all can have babies, but they're not the fucking same species. But we're all taught to believe that we're all the same species just because we can mate. And they lie to us in school and tell us that their offspring are infertile. A mule can have offspring with other donkeys. A henny can have offspring with other horses. So these animals are not infertile. These animals were never infertile. We were just lied to. We've been lied to about everything. And blacks in America do not have the same blood type as those indigenous to Africa. Native Africans have AB blood types. We have O blood type. We're not the same. We never were.